This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Just signed with Boxing Social, first interview in person since joining the company. No one better than Mr. Adam Smith. Adam, how are you?
Congratulations. How's your early time, embryonic time?
Enjoying it. Happy to be here. No bigger fight week than this, eh?
No bigger fight week, in my opinion, in the UK this year. I think it's enormous. Okay, maybe Frank might argue with Fury or White, but certainly for the women, that was a massive night at Wembley. And obviously we've had AJ and Usyk out in Saudi, but this for me and for Sky Sports is our biggest week and our biggest night. And I say that because we've been hugely behind the ascent of female boxing in the last 6 to 10 years at Sky. I guess ever since Katie and Nicola shone in London 2012 and Savannah became a scholar with us. And then Katie obviously turned professional with Matchroom and Sky. And we've been behind women's boxing ever since and really trying to push it from the rooftops. And it doesn't get any bigger and better than this. The first ever female card in the UK, all female card. I've just been talking to Ebony, to Caroline, to Lauren, to Claressa. They're just so excited that finally all their hard work is paying off and that they're going to be appreciated by a huge audience on Sky Sports, free to air. And for me, it's like their Lionesses moment. And we've got elite boxers and this is their stage to shine on. What a top of the bill and what a chief support, a co-main event with Michaela and Alicia as well as Savannah and Claressa, and I think it's a fantastic night, and any of those fights would be a pleasure to have anywhere in the world, but to have it in London, in the capital, live on Sky Sports on Saturday night, I cannot wait.
So it must be a real proud moment for you, actually. Obviously, this being the first all-female card at the O2, done really well tickets-wise. I know the upper tier's been opened up. All the females, I mean, you look at sort of your Lauren Prices, your Claressa, I think there's Caroline Dubois, who's not too far away, and then obviously the two blockbuster fights, and then all the other prospects that we've got in the card. I suppose for you and the team at Boxer, a very proud moment in being the first to do this.
Absolutely, and not forget Shannon and Ebony and April and all of them that are taking their spot on the card as well. But yeah, Caroline, Lauren and Caris, for me, the trio of Olympians who Ben and I, it was a swift deal for Caroline. It was a little longer for Lauren and Caris, but I think we've got three of the best prospects in world boxing, male or female there, just the trio there. I cannot wait to see them each and every time. I think they're fantastic. I think we could throw them in for world titles almost within months. They're that good, but they need to be built, they need to be showcased, and they need to have the right fights at the right time, and they will get them. So very excited that they're on, but obviously the two major fights, so many titles on the line, undisputed middleweight, all the treasure and the history and the rivalry and the bitterness and the different contrasting characters and styles of Claressa Shields and Savannah Marshall, just everything in the pot for that. We've obviously got to know Claressa in Britain since she fought in Cardiff. She came over to Newcastle. She's travelling again, full credit to her and to Dimitri and Mark and John David Jackson and the team for coming over and doing this. And Savannah Marshall, of course, we've known at Sky for so many years, and we've seen her go through all the ups and downs, and in the last year or two the confidence is really starting to go. The hooter, I think we're off and running, Ben Shalom.
I'm worried.
We're off and running.
Worried about
How are your sea legs?
I'm worried.
How's Ben's sea legs?
I'm very concerned.
You're a little bit wobbly.
I think Claressa's not getting on.
You're a little bit wobbly.
She's a bit seasick, but no, we're all good.
Just relax, it's okay. Caris is a bit wobbly on shore, but she's all right now. I think everyone will be fine. It's a trip down the Thames, Charlie. It's to see the London sights, and what a day to do it. Let's hope the sun keeps shining and the rain keeps off. I hear there's a bit of cover downstairs, so but yeah, it's a fantastic, a novel thing to do, and it's obviously a novel week and a different week and a creative week. So, and let's not forget, Charlie, that what Katie's done, what Chantel and Terry and everybody from around the world has done. It's not just the women that are appearing on Saturday night. I'm hoping that the others can be part of it as well, that they can come along and support, because it's just a great night for all the women who have done so well in boxing, and now they're getting the financial rewards, they're getting the high profile nights, and there's no more high profile night than this on Saturday at the O2.
Well, Shields Marshall, obviously the bad blood is there. We've been seeing it building up over the years. I think we're talking 10 years ago since that fight in the amateurs where Savannah Marshall beat Claressa Shields. She wants to avenge that defeat, but she says, look, I've done what I've done. I don't, that's not a burden on my shoulders. But she, on a personal level, she called for this fight. She wanted it to happen. She's come over to London. They've both made it happen. They hate each other. Simple as.
They do hate each other as we sway in the wind. Charlie, I'm not sure whether I should have the sunglasses on or the umbrella out. It's one of those.
Maybe both.
Maybe both. I think I've got both in the bag. Listen, it's a great fight, and it's something that Savannah has been talking to me about for 10 years, since she became a scholar at Sky. As for Claressa, it must have been burning inside, and she's the only person, Savannah, to have ever beaten her, amateur or pro, and she had a stellar amateur career, not only double Olympic gold medalist but double world gold as well. Claressa, she's unbeaten in all her professional fights. She's undisputed a couple of times already. I forget how many belts she's actually got. She's always sort of carrying most of them. I don't know how she holds them all up. Savannah has the world title, the WBO title. She wasn't as exceptional as an amateur, although she did win the world gold, and she did obviously win Commonwealth gold and bronzes and others. She didn't medal in the Olympics, which I thought was a shame at Rio. I thought she deserved to. But it's a very different story now. It's a professional fight. It's over 10 rounds. The smaller gloves, no head guards, under the lights. And they've both grown into professional, elite professional sports women. So it's very different to 10 years ago. I've watched that fight numerous times. But to be honest, I think it's going to be a much, much better fight, a much tougher fight, a much more interesting fight on Saturday. And I really think it's too close to call.
Mayer, Baumgartner, obviously another amazing fight, and one that I suppose credit to everyone, all promotional outlets aside, on getting it involved and allowing it to be on this card.
Absolutely. Boxer put this on, but Top Ranker brought Michaela to the party, and it's fantastic to see our friends from Top Rank all around us. They brought a big team over. I missed Eddie and Frank earlier at the hotel. I hear they were there. I was a little bit late, but I look forward to seeing them during fight week, and Matchroom are involved as well with Alicia. It's fantastic that everybody can come together. It was actually interesting. We had a meeting for the Boxing Writers Dinner Committee yesterday, and I said at the Writers Committee, I said, it feels like the Boxing Writers Night, where the knives go down, the pens go down, and everyone can just have a really good night. And I hope that's what Saturday brings. There's a lot of different parties.
Sense of unity.
Yes, that have come together. This is a great night for women's boxing. It's a great night for boxing, and it's a great night for sport. Let's take away the promotional rivalries for a few days, a few hours, and let's all enjoy it, because yeah, it's going to be great. As Big Mo saying, the first all-female card in history. The Big Mo will be heard all around London on this boat, I think.
Well, let's move on to the world of boxing. Obviously, we had Anthony Joshua and Usyk out in Saudi Arabia. Usyk winning on split decision. Any news on pay-per-view numbers? How did that event do for yourself? Obviously, there was a little bit of... obviously, the broadcast was only announced, I think, 4 weeks before the event. But were you guys content at Sky? And can we get a rough average on numbers? Are you able to give that out?
I don't even know the rough numbers. There's other people within Sky who've got a much better idea than I have of all of that. I think we've done very well, and we're very happy with it. It was a huge statement for us to have the fight. We did have a short lead-in time, so maybe that was... we would have liked longer, let's be honest, and also we weren't in control of the pictures. It wasn't our feed. Whisper did a terrific job, so we were a small team out in Saudi, and it didn't have the entire sort of Sky operation around it out there, but I think everybody did a great job in just a short period of time. I think it was a fantastic build-up. It was a great fight, a great night for both of them, I thought. Anthony Joshua fought really well, performed excellently, and Alexander Usyk just cemented his place as pound for pound, arguably the king. He's just a phenomenon, isn't he? And I thought it was a really good fight, and obviously AJ had the mic afterwards, and many people sort of talking about the rant or the words he said. And look, I think obviously it was ill timing, and it would have been good for Alexander to have that moment. But ultimately, I think people understand what Anthony was saying, and he's had a great career, and he definitely performed well enough to go on to fight a number of others out there. And it sounds like Tyson Fury wants to be the first. I mean, if that's real and that happens, then obviously there's a huge amount of obstacles we know before that can be made. But wouldn't it be great if something like that came out of it, that AJ put on a great performance, Usyk doesn't want to fight yet, and we get the undisputed fight in the new year, and maybe we get the Battle of Britain first. And no one would have thought it would work out like that, and stranger things happen in boxing. Let's just see. But I thought it was a really great performance from AJ. He's got nothing to be disappointed about with that. I thought he showed us what he could do. But Alexander Usyk for me was sublime and showed the champion's mentality as well in that 10th round to turn it around from a bad 9th. And yeah, I thought Usyk cemented his place. I want to see Fury Usyk, but I tell you what, I'd like to see Fury AJ too.
Well, you brought it up for me. We have to delve deeper into it. Tyson Fury obviously done that video calling out Anthony Joshua and what was actually very respectful. A lot of people.
I liked it. Look, you know, Tyson gets up in the morning, he decides what he wants to do, and actually it was a very, very calm, polite, professional call out to AJ. And I think actually with AJ going back saying, yeah, look, we'll do it, talk to 258. You and I know that there's a great deal of red tape to go through before, you know, obviously BT, DAZN, there's all sorts of broadcasting issues. Plus on top of that, there's the finances, but there's the 60-40 call out.
That surprised you, the 60-40, because everyone said 70-30, 75-25. Obviously, we know what Tyson's like, but he's done the 60-40. Eddie team quite like it.
I think Tyson wants to fight, and I think he wants to fight Joshua at some point, and why not now? AJ, what do you do with him? Benga's on the boat. I might have a word with him or what he thinks. But what do you do? My first reaction was to get him back in the ring quickly, give him a fairly decent sort of comeback fight, maybe at the O2 against a Manuel Char or Jermaine Franklin or someone that he would, you know, have a good night with, and then we could get him in with the likes of a Dillian White. It's not my business anymore. It's DAZN's, it's Matchrooms, it's 258. But obviously, I'm a big supporter of Anthony Joshua and like to see the best thing happen. But all of a sudden, the curveball comes out for Tyson. You never know quite what's serious or not serious, but it seems like both of them want this fight. And look, if Eddie and Frank and George and Bob can all get around a table and somehow make this happen, it's great. It's great for the people. It's fantastic for the fans. It's wonderful for all of us. And you know, ultimately, let's see if we can make it happen. Is the wind a little difficult for your mind, Charlie?
I'm just hoping it doesn't ruin it. Just finally from me, obviously last weekend Liam Smith in what was a bit of a bizarre things. Two things I'll go into on that card as I'm going to try and shield the microphone as much as I can with the wind here. I've read, and I haven't seen the interview myself, so I can't say it for certain, and I know things can be taken out of context in this game, but on Frazer Clarke's opponent, that may be a problem on the 258 side, that they declined better opponents. Are you able to give us any clarity on that?
No, I think the way we look at it, Charlie, is that Liverpool was a mixed night. Let's be honest about this. Tasha Jonas and Patricia Burkle were wonderful. Wonderful exhibition and a great hors d'oeuvre for what we're going to see on Saturday night. And congratulations to Tasha and Boxer, what they've done in the last year for her. Obviously, she's part of the Sky stable on the punditry side, and she'll be broadcasting for us on Saturday. Terrific performance by Tasha. For Adam Azim shone, it's time to move him up and rapidly. And I thought it was a really good British title fight between Dan and Shakan. And then there was the bad part. The bad part was that Frazer Clarke's opponent wasn't good enough, shouldn't have been in the ring with him. I was worried at the weigh-in when I saw the size difference. And obviously the same goes in a very disappointing sort of way out or performance at the end from Umaquinho. Liam needed a better test and he didn't get it. It was a strange way out. He looked like he was having a decent first 4 rounds, and then he started to complain. So no, it was unsatisfactory, both endings, and you saw the disappointment of Frazer. I don't think anyone you should say it's 258's fault or this fault or that fault. I think ultimately...
Are you able to issue any clarity on that though?
Ultimately it's the responsibility of Boxer and of Sky Sports. It's our responsibility. You know, Ben was promoting and we put the show on, and for our customers that part of it was disappointing, but it was still, there were great parts of the night, and often you don't know when fights happen and unfold what's going to happen, and for 3-4 rounds it looked like there was a good fight going on with the main event. Yes, it was disappointing the ending, but we have to move on. We have to make sure it doesn't happen again. We give Liam Smith a much bigger and better test next time around. And as for Frazer, I've said to Ben, we move him up now. He's an elite fighter, and it's very difficult to match these elite Olympians, Caris and Lauren and Caroline. It's tough because we know they could become world champions very quickly, but they have to learn as well the professional ring education. So it is difficult. So yes, of course, there's been internal conversations, and there will be, but we just have to say, look, it was it was a disappointing one. I know Ben really felt on the night and on the hours afterwards. So did I. We're both passionate about boxing. We both want our customers and our fans to get the best we possibly can, and there were parts of it which weren't good enough, and that's telling the truth, that's being honest, and we have to address that. I don't want to put the blame on anybody. I want to take the responsibility from a broadcasting point of view, that obviously our shows are only as good as what our promoter puts on. Ben and I work very closely, so we work together, and we deliver together, and I think that it was a good show in parts, but there were some unsatisfactory parts to it, and we'll look to address those and make sure that doesn't happen again, and that Frazer, Adam and all our young prospects go on to bigger and better things and tests ahead. But every promoter, every broadcaster have had these issues in the past. It's dealing with them and moving on, and we're moving on to a rip-roaring show this Saturday night. So let's move on to that, and let's crack on, and let's learn from our mistakes.
Adam, top man, thank you for being my first interview this week. Thanks very much.